Now at 10, a new Missouri law aims to tackle distracted driving, how this could change your driving habits. Plus, how a local faith-based program is helping people battling substance abuse. And Grand Lake in Grove prepares to kick off an adrenaline-fueled weekend with drag racing boats.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Time is running out for Joplin area residents, business owners, and anyone else interested in participating in the city's survey related to homelessness. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. The deadline to turn in that survey is July 14th. But right now, the city faces a big challenge. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has the story.
Matthew Koenig has been living in Joplin as a homeless person since 2009.
I started getting pain in my lower spinal area and my feet and my knees, and it was started because of getting older.
As he couldn't perform his tasks anymore, he lost his job. Now he lives in a shelter in the downtown area of Joplin. But not every homeless person in the area has the same opportunity. That happens because shelters between Newton and Jasper counties are at their full capacity. Also, there are no low-income houses available.
We have 75 people who've been approved for housing assistance. They either have rental assistance approved for them or a housing voucher. They're out looking that can't lease up anywhere. There isn't enough affordable housing for people. That is one huge barrier. I mean, there are a lot of families that are just a paycheck away from becoming homeless because of low income and high rents and everything, all basic costs are rising.
Originally from the Kansas City area, Jason has been living on the streets for 6 months.
If you're homeless and you're out on the streets, we're always getting arrested for trespassing. Which means we got to be on the corners even more.
The Homeless Coalition estimates that there are more than 250 homeless people living in the Jasper and in the Newton counties, with most of them being in Joplin.
It's a sad situation that's going on here in Joplin. But there are ways to fix this homeless problem.
Wanting to address the difficulties homeless people in the area are facing, the city of Joplin is encouraging people to participate in a survey related to homelessness.
So we'll take that information, interpret it, try to determine, what are the impediments for individuals experiencing homelessness? Why are they in that situation? What are the resources and the opportunities to get them out of that situation?
Matt himself has some suggestions.
A lot of research on YouTube. And there's a lot of videos talking about homeless shelters that you can build real cheaply.
He also plans on going back to school and learn more about computers to give himself a better life.
And once I do that, I can get a good job somewhere.
In Joplin, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
Now, in the past week, more than 850 responses to that survey were submitted. The deadline again is 1 week from today. You're going to find a link to that online survey through our website. Of course, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. All of us need a lot of rain. Some of us might get a little rain. Let's check in with Doug.
Yeah, we've had scattered showers and a few thunderstorms over the past couple days, but not much. For most of us, not much again today. 88 was our high. Our normal high is 90 degrees, but we are tracking some thunderstorms. These are in our far western counties and they are pushing east. I just don't think we're going to get a whole bunch into the region, especially Pittsburgh and Joplin, but at least we got some in our western counties, and our western counties are the areas that need the rain the most. They're in the deepest of the drought. All right, little guy just south of Mount Vernon, then stretching from Yates Center to Independence down toward Bartlesville. But as we continue through the night, every time these storms work east, they just kind of fall apart. So this is going to be kind of the trend that we see during the overnight hours. So we're going to be talking more about this and the weekend, all coming up in just a bit.
Catch you then. Missouri Governor Mike Parson has signed a distracted driving bill into law. Reporter Liam Garrity has more on what the new law does and a reaction from a woman who had been pushing for the change.
And I'm so stoked. It's just like job well done to everyone who's used their stories to change history.
That's Stephanie Benning. Her last name is on the new bill. Her husband was killed in a texting and driving crash a little more than 2 years ago. He was in the road getting something that had fallen out of his boat when he got hit.
My daughter who was with my husband, called me and said, something's happened to Dad. Can you come? He's not coming back.
She says they have been pushing for this for 2 years.
When the Senate, Republican and Democrat both decided to join their bills together, I just remember I was actually on vacation and I just sat there and cried.
The bill allows you to use hands-free devices, but you cannot hold your phone to text, scroll, or anything. Nick Jabaria with AAA says the punishments can be serious.
If you cause a crash and it's determined that the driver was on their phone, that driver could face misdemeanor or felony charges.
Jabaria says Missouri is the 49th state to ban texting while driving for all ages, and the 28th state to pass a hands-free law.
Between 2012 and 2021, there's been nearly 200,000 crashes involving distracted driving. And in that same time period, 801 people killed due to distracted driving in Missouri.
Benning says she has words for people who think the fine is annoying.
$150 and not a loss of life is definitely well worth it. And we need to realize when we are driving, we're driving the most deadliest thing we can each day when we get behind the wheel.
Again, the penalties won't be given until 2025. In the meantime, it's considered an education period to warn and inform drivers. And the law is for moving vehicles. If you are legally stopped, like at a stoplight, you won't get a ticket. And there are exceptions for EMS, law enforcement, rideshare drivers, and more. The Kansas Attorney General today sues to prevent transgender people from changing their sex on their driver's licenses. The lawsuit's also to rebuke Governor Laura Kelly for defying the AG's interpretation of a new law. Attorney General Chris Kobach contends a law that took effect Saturday prevents such changes and requires the state to reverse any previous changes in its records. More than 900 people have changed their listing for sex on their birth certificates in the past 4 years. The Kansas audit questioned whether local election security policies are strong enough. The audit revealed the state also does not appear to be giving counties enough guidance on how best to oversee voting. The report examined election security procedures in 15 of the state's 105 counties and found that none of those counties had comprehensive security policies or guidance. The audit suggests money and personnel played a role. Still ahead, the Joplin ROCC looks to create a safe haven for people dealing with drug abuse. Plus, a local orthodontist office teams up with the Ronald McDonald House for a good cause. As the U.S. battles the ongoing drug crisis, a lot of people can struggle with recovery. However, one organization in Joplin is making the process at least a bit easier. KOAM's Jasmine Knight has that story.
She started talking to us about a center right here in the heart of Joplin that would help those walking around with substance use disorders, something, a place, a safe haven for these folks to come and get help.
According to the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, drug usage is the #1 leading cause of death for ages 18 through 44 in Missouri. In 2021 alone, there were 1,581 deaths from opioid overdoses.
And let them know that they're safe, that there's people out there that care, and that it is possible to have recovery and be successful in the community.
This morning, they had an art class where they sketched buildings. However, they host a multitude of other things.
Well, the Rock offers during Recovery Month, there'll be a speaker event, and with not just a speaker, but there'll be food and fellowship. There's also, I think, a Friday night game night where, people in recovery can just come and have a safe place to gather.
And for those who are unsure where to start on their road to recovery, Paula Donaldson has a tip for you.
Stop by and see what that looks like. We have meetings on several days of the week. Give us a call. Come and talk to Cherie. Come and talk to me, and I'll hopefully be able to help you start that. First step is always the hardest one. Asking for help is always the hardest.
So if you're looking for a safe haven to start your recovery journey, The Rock is the right place for you. Reporting in Joplin, Jasmine Knight, KOAM News.
The ROCC is open weekdays from 8:30 to 4:30. Southeast Kansas artists come together today to get to know one another and discuss their work. The Pittsburgh Arts Council and the Kansas Creative Arts Industries Commission hosted a regional meetup at Block 22 in Pittsburgh. Organizers say it's a chance for artists and art enthusiasts to connect and network. Officials also discussed statewide initiatives and upcoming events. A local orthodontist office is making an impact in the Joplin community. La Fleur Wilson Ortho today kicked off their 2-month partnership with the Ronald McDonald Charities of the 4 states. The program, they're lending their hands in volunteer work. It includes projects such as filling comfort bags for future guests and organizing toys that have been donated to charity. They're even offering an incentive for those who might want to pitch in.
We are actually on Monday going to be kicking off kind of like a contest, if you will, where we're going to offer a prize for anybody who brings in the list of items that the Ronald McDonald House is in need of to pack their comfort bags that they'll hand out to the families when they enter the house for the first time.
The orthodontist office also encourages its patients to donate to the Ronald McDonald House. A little later, some area kids strapped into the country's lifestyle to showcase their livestock. We're going to pay a visit to the Newton County Fair.
Plus a few scattered thunderstorms for us tonight. We're going to be talking about that coming up. Well, a few scattered showers and thunderstorms for us today, but most of us have been dry, which has been an issue across the region lately. We definitely need the rain. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, Indigo just southwest of Seneca. It's Friday night. Look at the parking lots packed out heading into the weekend. All right, temperatures right now, we're sitting into the mid 70s. We'll drop back upper 60s later on tonight. Here's 7th. Here's Rangeline, currently sitting at 77. Northerly winds at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. But here's what we need. We need rain. You can see showers, a few scattered thunderstorms, mainly in our far western counties. Everybody else is pretty much dry. We've had a few isolated guys that have rotated through during the evening hours. Now, these are working in. You can see them pushing off toward the east, but I also think they're going to fall apart as they work into Pittsburgh, Joplin, Neosho. So we need to focus on what's behind it. But you can see scattered thunderstorms, Yates Center, Fredonia, Neodesha, Independence, and these are the areas that need the rain the most. These are the driest areas across the region, stretching back into northeastern parts of Oklahoma. But if we look west, look at this big band driving into Oklahoma City, but also notice the general direction. It's kind of moving east and a jaunt to the southeast, which means it's mainly south of us. So let's go north. Out to the west of Wichita, you got thunderstorms developing, but I think they're going to take this trend where they kind of fall apart as they move in. So we got to keep our fingers crossed, but I don't think a lot of us are going to get much in the way of beneficial rains. Look at the upper level winds. They dive southeast. That's why the storms the past couple days have been diving south of the region. So let's go to midnight. Spotty showers across the region, bigger storms out to the west. They try to get in here. Here's 3:30 in the morning, and then they just fall apart. So we're just not going to get much rain from this batch that is heading toward us. Hopefully some of you, especially our western counties, will pick up some decent amounts. All right, so by Saturday afternoon, just a lot of clouds, maybe an isolated guy, high temperatures, mainly into the mid 80s. Again tomorrow night, look where the complex goes, mainly southwest of us, meaning most of us don't get much rain. As we go into Sunday morning, a few isolated storms. Sunday afternoon, very similar to what we're going to see tomorrow. Partly sunny, mid 80s for afternoon highs. I don't even really want to show you this. This batch rolling in tonight, just not a lot of rain with it. So maybe 1/10 of an inch in spots. Probably most of us less than that. A few scattered thunderstorms in the morning, 85 on Sunday. A lot of clouds all weekend, but enjoy it because temperatures start accelerating upward as we go into next week. Look at Monday, hot, 93. Could get a complex in here Tuesday morning. We'll hope for that. So a little bit cooler with clouds. Near 100 on Wednesday, 101 Thursday, 102 by Friday. So the heat really kicks in over the next week.
Maybe 1/10 of an inch in spots. Most of you are going to get less than that. I noticed your graphic said 1/100th of an inch.
Yeah, at my house.
In a lot of places. Yeah, which is probably 100th more than I'm going to get in mine. Thanks, Doug. Yeah, rev those engines. Folks at Grand Lake in Grove, Oklahoma are getting ready for a weekend full of drag boat racing. The Wolf Creek Nationals kick off tomorrow, but the party started today. The Kentucky Drag Boat Association is hosting the races and also hosted a Food Truck Friday for people with live music and plenty of goodies. People were also able to meet this weekend's pilots and pit crews.
These people are my family. I live with these people all summer long, spring and summer, okay? And we have withdrawal during the winter. We can't wait for that first race. So, I mean, this is my family. I love these people.
If you'd like to check out the races this weekend, you should know they run from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday. They're going to be celebrating till the cows come home in Neosho, Missouri. The 56th annual Newton County Fair is underway at the fairgrounds. And among other things, it features all kinds of livestock shows. A lot of young people get a chance to show their animals, maybe learn a thing or two in the process. And it's not just livestock shows. The fair also includes food vendors, commercial exhibits, and a carnival. It runs through tomorrow. Brock here, he has some big news to share coming out of the Mink League.
That's right. We'll reveal the players that were selected to represent the Joplin Outlaws and the Nevada Griffins in this year's Mink League All-Star Game. Plus, a Pittsburgh State Gorilla is ready to compete in the USA Track and Field Outdoor Championships this weekend. We'll break it all down next in sports. The 2023 Mink League All-Star Game kicks off this Sunday in Chillicothe. The Outlaws will have 9 players representing Joplin. Meanwhile, the Nevada Griffins will have 5 players representing Nevada. So here we go, representing the Joplin Outlaws in the 2023 Mink League All-Star Game. Landon Meyer and Jarrett Nelson will be part of the infield. And then in the outfield, Garrett Chun and Colton Reynolds. Then on the pitching side, representing Joplin is Hayden Bressler, Chris Massey, Logan Rains, and Will Isla and Luke Schmedling. Now we take a look at who's representing the Nevada Griffins for the Mink League South All-Star team. Starting off with the infielders, J.C. Berry, London Penland, and Graydon Miller. Then on the pitching side of things, it's Joey Funk, Gage Hayes, and once again, there's your 2023 Mink League All-Star players from Nevada. They will head to Chillicothe for the All-Star Game this Sunday. The Joplin Outlaws are on the 6-game winning streak, but that was snapped last night. However, Joplin remains in first place in the Mink League South. Joplin is taking on their annual road trip to Chillicothe tonight. They're in for a doubleheader. In Game 1, the Outlaws, or I should say the Mudcats, get the best of the Outlaws, defeating Joplin 10-8. However, William Kelly goes 2 for 4 with a pair of RBIs. Then in game number 2, not much change for the Outlaws. They get swept by the Mudcats, this time losing 4-0, even though Joplin loses their last 3 games. They finished with an 11-7 record in their last 18 just before the All-Star break. This weekend, a Pittsburgh State Gorilla, Cordell Tinch, will be competing in the USA Track and Field Outdoor Championships in Eugene, Oregon. Tinch is set to be competing this Saturday in 2 events, the men's long jump as well as the 110-meter hurdles. Tinch is already the Division II national champion in the 110 meters, and he led Pittsburgh State in both the indoor and outdoor track and field national title. Now Tinch is set to represent his country in one of track and field's biggest stages.
I mean, USA right now is #1 in the 110 hurdles. I mean, we have 3 of the top 4 in the world right now. And so you know that competition is going to be high. You know the competition is going to be a premium level. And so he has to know how to handle that. And it's a good situation for him to be in. And he embraces that. He understands it. He's excited for that challenge. And it's just a new level for him. But he's ready for it. He's doing well.
When we shift gears back to baseball now, St. Louis Cardinals are in the Windy City tonight, but instead of facing their typical North Sider foes, they take a trip to the South Side, taking on the Chicago White Sox. This game has gone back and forth all night long. The Cards were up 5-0, then down 6-5, and now St. Louis is currently down 8-7 going into the 8th inning in Chicago. So now we head over to the American League side of things. The Royals are in Cleveland tonight taking on the Guardians. Kansas City gets shut out 3-0. Barely any offense from the Royals tonight, just 2 hits. Except Bobby Witt Jr. goes 1 for 4 with a double. Kansas City has now lost 5 straight. That's a look at sports. We'll be right back with more news after this.
Okay, the good news is some of us might get a little bit of rain. Bad news is it's some of us, and it's might, and it's a little bit.
Yeah, you know, the best chances for rain tonight are going to be on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side, but as this batch works in, it does kind of fall apart. But I do think at least a good chunk of us, especially our western counties, will get some rain, and those are the areas that need it the most, but we could all use it.
Yeah.
84 tomorrow, 85 on Sunday.
Yeah, good for those who get some anyway. Final sports notes.
In case there's any Pittsburgh State fans that want to watch Cordell Tinge compete tomorrow, he is set to start his 110-meter hurdles tomorrow at approximately 7:37 p.m. Central Local Time.
Approximately,
yes.
Might be 7:38, might be 7:36. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with a look at music from the local band Backwood County from the Wolf Creek Drag Boat Nationals in Grove. Let's make it a great weekend.